Yo, what is up, y'all? It's your boy Sebastian, or you can just call me Sebas. And today we are here finally. It's currently Wednesday, September 8th, or 7th, and tomorrow, finally, the NFL returns back here. We start off with the kickoff with the Buffalo Bills against the Rams. Finally, football is back after 7 months of waiting, ever since the Super Bowl with the Rams beating the Bengals. About time football is finally back. Maybe that becomes more active towards my school. It's going to become even more busier. But other than that, the only thing I really care is that football's finally back and we can finally rest. But enough chatter. I'm focusing more on the football now that the season's going to be coming back. But I still want to prioritize over there in European football. Prioritizing more towards the Champions League just because that's the more biggest events. And then maybe perhaps when I have more time and when there's more better matchups between the leagues. I probably might record those match days as well. But for now, every week, at least one video within the NFL, and then there's also going to be a week with the Champions League as well. Not both. More videos, the better. But as enough chattering, let's get on to these predictions. First things game tomorrow on Thursday Night Football. The 2022 season kicks off at SoFi Stadium within the Buffalo Bills, the highest rated team so far, expected to win the Super Bowl this year, taking on the Los Angeles Rams, the remaining champs, Super Bowl champions holders. You get the gist of it. Buffalo Bills, it kicks off tomorrow at 5:12. It's going to be a very exciting matchup. The last meeting you can see they played 2 years ago, September 26th, within the Bills beating the Rams 35-32. However, both teams are two completely different teams. This should have been the matchup last year for the Super Bowl, and it would have been one heck of a game. You can even see right there with the small highlight, Cooper Kupp having an incredible year. Of course, with the Buffaloes having the number one ranked defense last year as well. It's gonna be different how these both teams kicks off. But personally, I'm gonna be more towards the fans. I believe the Bills should be able to beat the Rams. I'm not saying comfortably. It should be a very hard and very exciting matchup to return week one. To start off week one, I meant. Excuse me. But enough said. I think the Bills probably wins this. It's going to be a very close game. I believe it probably goes up to a field goal. Probably it's going to be, I'm going to say like a 28-25 score game. Defense plays a very big role, but the offense also plays a lot of roles as well. Cooper Kupp probably gets a touchdown. Stephon Diggs probably gets a touchdown. Josh Allen probably runs one in, but it's going to be weird how this game kicks off. But it's going to be very exciting. But that's enough about this one. Let's go on to the next one. Starting off the Sunday slate of, I believe, 14 teams. It's going to be the New Orleans Saints taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Just getting the predictions there. It's probably going to be the Saints winning this more comfortably. The Saints really likes to win a lot at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is located in Atlanta. But should be more comfortable win for the Saints. Starting off the new season, perhaps they'll get their Michael Thomas back, maybe healthy, still having that ankle problem. But if everything goes well, they should be able to get him back on Sunday. They missed their Offensive Player of the Year from 2 years ago. You can see Jameis Winston with the 5-2 record. If he plays really well, they could probably take the Saints to the playoffs. Unlike last year, pretty unfortunate that the Niners sneaked in. But the Philadelphia Eagles sneaked in. But the Saints should win this comfortably. As you can see, last year they won 30-20. Should be another similar matchup, except for the Falcons. They did lose Calvin Ridley for the year. They did lose Matt Ryan. A bunch of rookies going to be playing. They got Marcus Mariota. Maybe Marcus Mariota plays off his mind this year, proves people wrong that he's not a backup quarterback. Should be exciting to see how the Falcons play this year, but they are projected to win last in this season, and then pick up maybe perhaps Tua Tagovailoa if they're not very convinced with Marcus Mariota. But should be very exciting. See how the Falcons roll this year. It's going to be very exciting how the Saints do this year as well. They are a playoff team. Defense-wise, they are playing well. They played really well against the Buccaneers, who are the main competition for the division this year. So, excited to see how this happens, but the Saints should be able to win this comfortably, probably 24-10. Let's move on. Continuing on, we have the Carolina Panthers hosting the Cleveland Browns. A very exciting matchup for the Carolina Panthers as they announced that Baker Mayfield is the starting quarterback against Cleveland. A reunion matchup for Baker Mayfield. Cleveland, I wouldn't say just threw him away ever since they picked up Deshaun Watson, who's even going to play for I think was it 6 or 11 games. I can't remember. But Baker Mayfield having his revenge game right off the bat. Should be able to give Carolina the victory as long as Cleveland. I'm not sure who their starting quarterback is for Cleveland, but we'll find out at a later time. But the Carolina Panthers should start the season off well. They are hosting this game at home. Cleveland without Deshaun Watson as their quarterback, I just don't see them winning as much games. You know, your quarterback leads you to the wins, and if you don't have Watson in the backfield, then it's not going to be very well for these first games, I guess. Perhaps even the season, because they're still trying to figure out what happens with the allegations of Deshaun Watson. But as long as that gets sorted out, Cleveland should not be a playoff team. They shouldn't be, well, even though they did get, what's his name? Amari Cooper from Dallas. But enough chitter chat. McCaffrey also heading back. I almost forgot about McCaffrey, Mr. Playoff, Mr. Fantasy Leader. If you didn't pick up McCaffrey, then he's gonna have a blowout there this year. Although he is very injury prone, but you should trust the process. I think McCaffrey goes off this game as well. But I think I favor more Baker Mayfield showing that he was the starting quarterback, and tell Cleveland that they made a mistake trading him to Carolina. But excuse me. But enough said. Should be a very, very roundabout game. Maybe more of an offensive instead of a defensive game. Maybe even both, I guess. Special teams can play an impact as well. But Carolina should take this victory. Let's go with the 24-17 highlight. It's going to be like a touchdown game. But Carolina wins this more comfortably. They kill the time clock, and then they just run the ball down their throats. But other than that, exciting matchup. Let's move on. Now we have the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Chicago Bears, being at Soldier Field, which is located in Chicago. Very potential, I wouldn't say like anticipated matchup between sophomore Justin Fields and sophomore as well, Trey Lance, both being drafted in the same draft order. Very excited there. Who's going to have redemption on what? Maybe Justin Fields proves that the Niners made a mistake drafting Trey Lance over Justin Fields, but it's only a matchup that's going to happen this Sunday. This is actually very exciting now that I think about it. But I think defense plays a really big matter in this game because both sophomore quarterbacks, they know how the playing field is in the NFL. I'll see how they adapt during the offseason and see how they are. But should be I wouldn't anticipate a very high scoring game, maybe more of like in the middle. But I think this is also another 3-point game. Very close, I believe. The Chicago Bears shouldn't be a team to be taken lightly, but they're not like super heavy as well, and being like high contention with the NFC. So I think the Niners wins this game. They start off their season well. They probably win like a 31-28 type game. If not, maybe a touchdown game as well, to 25. But should be Trey Lance's first game, and then first game as a starter. Well, not first game as a starter, but like a victory in the new season. Should be exciting moments for the Niners. Also with the Bears, two new quarterbacks to lead their team. It's gonna be very high anticipated for the season. But that's enough for this. Let's move on. Now we already have a divisional game between the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. It'll be very weird how Pittsburgh plays out the season this year with their quarterbacks. They are playing at Cincinnati, so it's going to be a very tough game for Pittsburgh to win. It would be pretty shocking that they're really under favor right now as Mitchell Trubisky with their quarterbacks. You can see the last game they played, Cincinnati destroyed them. And this should be the same thing this year. Cincinnati having that incredible run in the playoffs, defeating the Tennessee Titans, defeating, I think, the Raiders, and then defeating the Chiefs, ultimately losing in the Super Bowl against the Rams. But it was pretty close. Cincinnati could have had the championship last year, and it's Joe Burrow heading to his, I think, his third or fourth year as a starter. He's going to be amazing as long as he doesn't stay injured. And then heading on with the offensive rookie, Jamar Chase, who had an incredible season last year. He's going to keep breaking records. It's going to be like another Justin Jefferson. It's going to be very exciting to see how the Bengals play out this year. Very contenders for the AFC this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they head back to the Super Bowl. But it all depends within their O-line, because their O-line really struggled last year. And if the team's going to keep touching the quarterbacks, it's not going to look good for Cincinnati. But very high hopes for Cincinnati. Pittsburgh, high hopes as well, but they got a lot of fixed up. As long as their defense plays amazing, TJ Watt goes off like he does, like his older brother, it's going to be amazing stuff. It should be a very, very exciting game. Probably Cincinnati takes this victory comfortably. However, let's go with like a 31-14 game. Let's move on. Heading on, we have the Philadelphia Eagles going at Detroit to take on the Detroit Lions. You can see the last matchup was last year, in which Philadelphia destroyed the Lions. Lions, not really much to say. More that like they lost a lot more games that they should have had lost. They seem like a pretty good team to play around. Their head coach is very energetic, very passionate. You gotta love the guy. But Philadelphia looks more anticipated to actually win their division this year, provide competition to Dallas. Now that they pick up, AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, having a pretty good season last year as well, taking the teams to the playoffs, but ultimately falling short to Tampa Bay. Just more experience in the NFL. I think Jalen Hurts is actually the starting quarterback or not the starting quarterback, like what would you call it? The starting QB for like the rest of his career at Philadelphia. He's very solid. He knows how to play the game very well, and then within their new receivers, Philadelphia should provide contention this year in the NFC. Obviously, it all depends how the defense plays. Detroit, just stay committed, man. All I can say is that Detroit, they got a team surrounded to play. The receivers are playing good. Jared Goff could have a pretty outstanding season. It really all depends on how they want to come into this season, how they play. They did pick up Aiden Hutchinson, you can see the number 2 pick, maybe improving their defense much better. But really only you can see within the game starts. It all depends how they want to start off the games, how to start off the season. I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit finishes 3-10 or they finish 7-7. Or this is just a bunch of stuff in my head because there's more games than that. But yeah, I mean, it depends really if they want to finish over 500 or exactly on 500. But I believe in the Detroit Lions and they should be able to win. But I don't think they win this week. I think Philadelphia starts off hot. AJ Brown goes off. It should be a more comfortable win for Philadelphia. It's going to be a 30-0 win. Not a shutout. It's probably more like a 10. I'll give Detroit 10 points. But high-scoring games, let's go. We have the Indianapolis Colts taking on against Houston Texans. That sounded weird. It's going to be taking place at NRG Stadium. Very exciting matchup for the Indianapolis Colts, who should have made the playoffs last year, but ultimately failed. They had it within their grasp. All they had to do was just beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they would have made the playoffs. But unfortunate stuff happening. Jonathan Taylor having an incredible season last year, being number 1 in rushing, almost hitting that 2,000 mark. Ultimately, just falling short. But it's not much to talk about this team. Houston Texans is going to be more of a repairing year. I wouldn't say what would you call it? I forgot my train of thought. But Houston preparing this season, they're going to be playing with Mills. I forgot the first name. Starting quarterback for Mills. Indianapolis Colts getting Matt Ryan. Finally having their good quarterback on lock, not having that situation. Jonathan Taylor going to have another incredible year. You could just manifest that happening. The running back curse is real. I'm just joking. Maybe him and Derrick Henry fight it out for number 1 rushing yards this year. It's not much of a discussion, but very exciting for fantasy matchups for Jonathan Taylor, but very exciting for the Colts, who could finally break the curse of not choking and making the playoffs this year. They are contenders for the AFC. They have a really good O-line. They have a really good defense. It's just a matter of execution. But other than that, Colts takes this comfortably. Should be able to be maybe I believe they could hit the 40 points. Let's go with a 45 to 17. Give pity to Houston. But exciting matchup. Let's keep going. We have the New England Patriots taking on the Miami Dolphins. Very exciting matchups for both teams. Very, very anticipated division matchup, excuse me. And should be honestly like a fight between the leaders, or just honestly kissing ass for the Buffalo Bills, because honestly I think the Buffalo Bills wins their division comfortably, and right behind them is going to be who's going to make the playoffs or not, or honestly all 3 make the playoffs. New England with rookie Matt Jones really impressed last year, and then Miami Dolphins just missing out as always, but they are a team to contend now that they have Tyreek Hill. Their receiver core, the running back core is looking really good as well. All it depends on the execution and see how this goes. But I believe Miami wins just because they're playing at home field advantage. So it should be a very exciting matchup. But Miami should take this, I wouldn't say this comfortably, but very close, perhaps a 31-28. It's going to be very close. It's going to be a really good high-scoring game. The teams are ready to throw. They're ready to score. So it's going to be very high. And I believe there's going to be a pick 6 in this game. Probably by New England, but we'll see. Mac Jones heading to his sophomore year. See how he does. It's going to be very exciting to see how these sophomores quarterbacks pair up this year. But exciting matchup, but Miami takes us. We have the Baltimore Ravens at New York Jets. I did see a post earlier that New York Jets will be starting with Joe Flacco. What's his name? Zach Wilson. I think he got injured, so he's not gonna be able to play this year. Or he is. I get my reports messed up. This is bad for me. Bad accustomed, but doesn't matter. Should be Baltimore's Ravens to take more comfortably. Ravens having honestly a potential. Well, I already forgot. Short-term memory. I remember they didn't make the playoffs last year. I think they did. I think they didn't. I think they did. I'm being very stubborn, but should make the playoffs this year. One more word. Let's see. Lamar Jackson should have an incredible year. Should be honestly in contention for MVP. So I'm just keep playing this game, ignoring the haters. Let him play how he wants to play this game. Ravens should be able to win at least more than 10 games. A very exciting game, or a very exciting season for the Ravens. A lot to expect from them, but let's see how their defense holds up. It's gonna be weird how they play out this year, but very exciting to see Lamar play, the running backs play. He did lose Marquise Brown, but it shouldn't be much of an issue for Lamar. Lamar does have a rocket in his arm, so it's gonna be very exciting. But Baltimore takes this more comfortably. It should be a good way to start off the season. Let's go with the 28-14 win. I think this is the last game of the morning games. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Washington Commanders. New name for Washington, looking very good. It's better than the Washington football team. So that's much better. I know Trevor Lawrence starting. I'm not sure for Washington if it was Tyler Heineke or someone else. But, oh yeah, they just got Carson Wentz. How did I forget that? Carson Wentz is going to be making his Commander debut. These videos are really helping me out a lot. You can see with the small highlights right there. It's going to be very, very exciting how this team plays out. Can I just click on this and just open that up? That's not good quality. So can you take this out? But you can see, very exciting for Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin having 1,000 yards. It's going to be very exciting how this team does. I should probably not do that because it's copyright. But very exciting how this team does. I lost my train of thought already. But Jacksonville Jaguars, it's going to be tough how they play this year. They did get Christian Kirk from Arizona. The Washington Commanders, if they play their game, I'm sure they'll be able to win over 500. But it's going to be very exciting how this team wins. Maybe a shocker here. I believe the Jaguars will probably beat the Washington Commanders. I don't believe too much in Carson Wentz, but it's going to be very exciting how this goes. But Jacksonville wins. Let's go with a... What do you want to go with? 17-14. Keep it light. And to start the afternoon slates, we have the New York Giants taking on the Tennessee Titans. Not much to say about this team, but the Tennessee Titans should be able to win this comfortably. Giants getting Saquon Barkley back. Tennessee having Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill. They're losing A.J. Brown, but I think they should be able to adjust towards that and just give Henry the rock. So it's going to be very exciting how this goes. Giants, see how Saquon Barkley works. Hopefully he doesn't get injured again. Daniel Jones being in the backfield is going to be very exciting how Daniel Jones plays this year. Hopefully he plays really good because there's a lot of haters out there who don't like Daniel Jones. So it's going to be very exciting how this goes. And, well, yeah, enough said. Tennessee Titans probably takes this more comfortably. Let's go with 31-17 win. Finally, we have a very high anticipated matchup. We have the Kansas City Chiefs going to Arizona, taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Two very stacked teams, but lackluster as well. Arizona Cardinals not having DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games. It's going to be a very big blow. But they do have Marquise Brown, and they do have A.J. Green with Randall Moore. They did lose Christian Kirk, but let's see how Marquise Brown fills in that slot that hole that Christian Kirk left. Kyler Murray having a very good start last year, ultimately falling short as they lose their 6 out of their 8 games. But they still make the playoffs, but it wasn't a very good playoff debut. Kansas City Chiefs, it shouldn't even be talked about. Always Super Bowl contenders. Patrick Mahomes always making every team a contender. Travis Kelce having going off. They did lose Tyreek Hill, so let's see how much that affects Kansas City. But it should be a very close game. However, I do think Kansas City beat the Cardinals because the Cardinals having that slump at home shouldn't be much said, but Cardinals or Kansas City wins this game. Let's go with a very high-scoring game. I believe it's going to be a 35-31 game. Another divisional matchup, we have the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Los Angeles having very, very high hopes this year. Should be able to make the playoffs and are ultimately Super Bowl contenders, having picking up Khalil Mack, having picking up J.C. Jackson from the Patriots. So it'll be very exciting how the Chargers do. Las Vegas also being very highly anticipated as well. Picking up Devontae Adams too. Derek Carr is going to have an incredible year like he did last year. So it really all depends how they connect. Should be very exciting, but I do believe the Chargers take this game. Let's hope that it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I believe it's going to be like a 41-38 game. But the Chargers takes this at home. Comfortable win. See how this goes. We have Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Very excited how these teams are going to play out. These are really the two contenders for the NFC North. But should be the Packers to take. However, you're going to slide some slack on the Packers just because they did lose Devontae Adams. But you really cannot count out Aaron Rodgers. You can see how the receiving core looks. But the Minnesota Vikings look really well. They're Kirk Cousins leading the backfield. Justin Jefferson having an incredible season last year as well. But Packers should be able to win this game. It shouldn't be much said. Packers take this game pretty comfortably. Not comfortably, more close, I guess, but it's going to be hard to see. Very exciting to see the matchups, but Packers should win 21-17. Keep it close, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings win. We have Sunday Night Football. We have Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Tampa Bay, always a Super Bowl contender with Tom Brady returning to the season. He retired, and then he said, nope, this is not my style. Go back to playing at the age of 45. So impressive. Love Tom Brady. He is the GOAT of football for the reason. Last year, he did play the starting of the season. It was pretty close, 31-29. Almost have Dallas a heart attack. But Tampa Bay having picked up Julio Jones. Dallas Cowboys losing Amari Cooper. It's going to be weird how it rotates. Zeke Elliott needs to play this game out of his mind. He needs to come back to how he is. But this game played at Dallas, but shouldn't matter as well. But, no buts. Keep on saying buts. Tampa Bay wins more comfortably. It should be another, I wouldn't say a close game, but Dak Prescott having a really good year. Ultimately getting injured, I think he got injured. I can't remember, but Tampa Bay takes this more comfortably. Should be a 31-17 game. I just don't see Dallas winning this game. They more feed off the divisional rivals to make the playoffs. But Tampa Bay, exciting to see how they play this year. Wouldn't be surprised if they lose or they win. I would be not surprised. I know. I'm almost out of voice, but we keep on going. Final game of the season, we have the Denver Broncos taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Another reunion for Russell Wilson. Broncos country. Let's ride. Very excited for the Denver Broncos. See how they do this year. They picked up a lot of weapons. They got their new their new starter quarterback with them, Russell Wilson. They're going to be heading back to Lumen Field at Seattle to see how Russell Wilson does. It's going to be very exciting how this game plays out. However, Seattle also being one of the rated to lose this season, not have a very well record, but they could always prove everyone wrong because they are the Seattle Seahawks. They also did lose Bobby Wagner, so it's going to be interesting how this goes. But Denver Broncos should take this game more comfortably, a 30-3 win. I just see that in the back of my head. Seattle don't make any touchdowns, which would be very unfortunate. But Denver, highly anticipated. But yeah, that's the NFL. Let's go to the conclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the conclusion of week 1. A lot of talking, less action. Very excited how the season goes. Very excited how the regular season just returning in general. Who doesn't love football? Very high matchups, very low matchups. That's a slack. But that's going to do it for me. A lot of talking. I lost my voice. But other than that, my name is Sebastian, or you can just call me Sebas. This is the NFL predictions. Prepare for more every week until January. It's going to be very awesome. It's going to be very fun. See how the season goes out. Let's go Cardinals, because you already know I'm a Cardinals fan. But that's me. That's the season. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you guys for watching. I hope the season goes amazing. But that's going to do it for me. Love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.